In front of us, we have a new Webiny project that we just created in the previous video. So let's see what we have here. In terms of files, there's a solid amount of files here, as we can see, but essentially these are just different configurations for different tools that Webiny includes out of the box. So there is the tsconfig here for configuring TypeScript. We have bubble config, prettier, ESLint, and so on. There is also this .env file here, which includes the environment variables that we need for our project. By default, there are already 4 environment variables listed here, but of course more can be added along the way. When it comes to folders, the 2 most important folders here are the apps and extensions folders. The apps folder is important because it includes the 4 fundamental project applications, of which every Webiny project is made of. These are core, API, admin, and website. What's interesting about these applications is that each one has its own set of responsibilities. For example, the core application is responsible for deploying all of your stateful cloud infrastructure resources, like DynamoDB tables, S3 buckets, Cognito user pools, and so on. After that, we have the API application, which is responsible for deploying your GraphQL API and your backend code. And finally, we have these admin and website folders, which, as the names itself suggest, deploy your admin and website front-end applications. It's also worth mentioning that every project application essentially consists of 2 parts. First, we have the actual application. So for example, here we are talking about Webiny's backend GraphQL API, and another example are front-end React applications like the admin or website app. The second part is the supporting cloud infrastructure on which the application actually runs on or it's served from. Again, for example, Webiny's GraphQL API runs on AWS Lambda, and it's also utilizing Amazon DynamoDB for storing data. On the other hand, admin and website applications require an S3 bucket to be deployed, so that they can be served off them to actual users. Ultimately, when talking about code, application code is what makes an application, and cloud infrastructure code is what defines the underlying cloud infrastructure that the application needs when deployed. Both of these parts can be extended or customized, again either via application or cloud infrastructure code, which brings us to this extensions folder. The extensions folder is the place where most of your extensions and customizations will reside. Things like customizing the logo in the admin app, defining content models, customizing file delivery, and more. For now, we don't need to worry much about all of this, as we will tackle these topics in the upcoming videos. But before we end this video, let's just quickly mention the Webiny CLI, which is the central tool we'll be using for everything related to development and deployments. To use it, in our terminal, we just type yarn webiny and then the command we want to run. For this video, I will just type --help, which will give me a list of all available commands. As we can see, for example, we have the Webiny deploy command, which deploys our project, or if specified, a single project application. We also have this Webiny watch command, which starts a new development session. We'll be using most of these commands in the following videos, so we'll get the chance to know them better.